My friend Derek opened his first brokerage account at 26. He funded it with $3,000, then he left it in cash, not invested, just sitting there as cash inside the account. He thought he was being smart. He thought he was waiting for the right moment to buy. That was 7 years ago. Last month, Derek showed me his account. The $3,000 had become $3,112. 7 years. $112. I asked him if he knew what that same $3,000 would have been worth if he had invested it the day he deposited it. He didn't know. I showed him the number, and he closed his laptop and didn't say anything for a long time. My name is Austin. I got to financial independence, not by finding the perfect investment, but by finally understanding what it actually costs to do nothing. Subscribe if you want the real mechanics, because what I am about to show you is the most common mistake sitting inside real investment accounts right now, and almost nobody is talking about it. Let me tell you exactly what happened to Derek's money. $3,000 sitting in a brokerage account as uninvested cash earns somewhere between 0 and 2% annually, depending on the broker. Over 7 years at 1%, that $3,000 becomes roughly $3,200, $112 in 7 years. Now take that same $3,000 invested on day one into a broad market index fund, earning the historical average return of 10% annually. In 7 years, that $3,000 becomes approximately $5,850. The difference between those two numbers is $2,750. Derek lost $2,750 not by making a bad investment, not by picking the wrong stock, not by timing the market wrong, by doing absolutely nothing, by leaving money in an account and assuming that being in the account was the same as being invested. It is not. Being in the account and being invested are two completely different things, and most people who think they are investing are actually doing exactly what Derek did. Here is why this mistake is so common and so invisible. When you open a brokerage account and deposit money, the account looks active. It shows a balance. It has your name on it. It feels like investing. The interface looks the same whether your money is sitting in cash or working in the market. There is no alarm. There is no warning. There is no notification that says your money is doing nothing. The account just sits there looking exactly like an investment account while your money earns almost nothing. I have shown this to 11 different people in the last 2 years. People who believed they were investing, people who were contributing regularly, people who were doing everything right as far as they knew. 8 of the 11 had some portion of their balance sitting as uninvested cash. One of them had been contributing $300 a month to his brokerage account for 4 years and had never once clicked the button to actually invest it. He had $14,000 in cash, sitting in an account he thought was building his retirement. $14,000, 4 years of contributions, 0 market exposure. Let me show you what that actually costs over time, because the numbers get worse the longer you wait. $14,000 invested today at 10% annually becomes $36,000 in 10 years, $60,000 in 15 years, $158,000 in 25 years. $14,000 sitting in cash at 1% becomes $15,400 in 10 years, $16,200 in 15 years, $17,900 in 25 years. The gap between those two outcomes at 25 years is $140,000. $140,000 lost not to a bad investment, not to a market crash, not to bad advice. Lost to a button that was never clicked. That is the true cost of holding cash inside an investment account. It is not zero. It is not neutral. It is one of the most expensive financial decisions most people are making right now without knowing they are making it at all. I want to address the argument I hear every time I show someone this math. The argument is that cash is safe, that the market can drop, that waiting for a better entry point, that keeping powder dry is a strategy. I understand why this feels true. It feels logical. It feels disciplined. The data does not support it. There is a study by Charles Schwab that ran every possible 1-year investment window from 1926 to 2011 and compared 5 different strategies. The person who invested immediately on day one, the person who tried to time the market perfectly, the person who spread their investment over 12 months, the person who waited for a crash that never came, and the person who stayed in cash the entire time. The person who invested immediately came in first in almost every window. The person who stayed in cash came in last every single time, not occasionally last. Every single time across 85 years of data. The market goes up roughly 75% of all trading days. Every day you are in cash, you are betting against those odds. Every day you wait for the perfect moment, you are more likely to miss a gain than to. Here is the other version of this mistake that almost nobody catches. This one is not about waiting to invest. This is about what happens inside a retirement account when contributions sit as cash before being allocated. Most 401k plans and many IRAs have a default setting. When your paycheck contribution hits the account, it lands as cash first. Then it gets invested according to your allocation instructions. If you have never set your allocation instructions, the money just sits. I have seen people with years of 401k contributions sitting in the default cash or money market position inside their plan because they completed step 1, which was enrolling, and never completed step 2, which was choosing where the money actually goes. Your HR department confirmed you were contributing. Your paycheck showed the deduction. Your account showed a growing balance, and none of it was invested in anything that grows. This is not rare. Vanguard's How America Saves report found that a meaningful percentage of participants have contributions sitting in default positions that are not aligned with their actual investment goals. The enrollment process made it feel done. It wasn't done. Let me put a real number on what this looks like for someone in their late 20s or early 30s. Say you are 28 years old. You opened your Roth IRA 2 years ago. You have been contributing $200 a month. You have $4,800 in the account. You never selected investments because the account accepted your contributions and showed a balance, and nothing ever told you something was wrong. At 28 with $4,800 in cash inside a Roth IRA, here is what the next 37 years looks like at 1% annual return. By age 65, that $4,800 becomes approximately $6,800. Here's what the next 37 years looks like if you invest that $4,800 today in a total market index fund at 10%. By age 65, that same $4,800 becomes $143,000. The difference between those two outcomes is $136,000. $136,000 sitting inside the same account, the same person, the same contributions. The only difference is whether the money was invested or left as cash. That gap compounds silently for 37 years, and by the time most people find out, it is too late to recover it. I want to give you the exact 3 things to check right now, because knowing this is not enough. You need to verify your specific situation tonight, not eventually tonight. First, open every investment account you have. Brokerage account, Roth IRA, traditional IRA, 401k, any account where you are putting money. Look at the holdings breakdown. Most platforms show this as a pie chart or a list. You're looking for anything labeled cash, money market, settlement fund, uninvested cash, core position. These are all versions of the same thing. Your money sitting idle. Second, check your 401k allocation specifically. Log into your plan provider. Find the section that shows where your contributions are being directed. If it shows a money market fund or a stable value fund as your primary allocation, and you are under 50 years old, that is almost certainly not where you want your long-term retirement money. Third, check your automatic investment settings. Some brokerages allow you to set up automatic investments so that every deposit goes directly into your chosen fund without a manual step. If you do not have this turned on, every future contribution is landing as cash until you manually click invest. You are one setting away from never having this problem again. Derek fixed his account the afternoon I showed him the numbers. He invested the $3,112 into a total market index fund. He set up automatic investment, so every future deposit goes directly into the fund without him having to think about it. He told me the thing that bothered him most was not the money he had lost. It was how close he had come to never knowing. The account looked fine. The contribution, everything felt like it was working. The most expensive financial mistakes are always the ones that feel like they are not happening. The cash sitting in Derek's account did not feel like a mistake. It felt like a balance. It felt like savings. It felt like he was doing the right thing. And that feeling cost him $2,750 over 7 years on just $3,000. Scale that across a typical retirement account over a typical career, and the number stops feeling like a mistake and starts feeling like a different retirement entirely. 1. Cash inside an investment account is not an investment. It earns almost nothing, and it costs you the compounding you were promised when you open the account. 2. The cost of holding cash is not zero. It is the difference between what your money earned and what it would have earned invested. Over decades, that difference is measured in hundreds of thousands of dollars. 3. Waiting for the right moment to invest has never beaten investing immediately across 85 years of historical data. The market goes up more days than it goes down, and every day in cash is a day you are betting against that. 4. Many 401k and IRA contributions land as cash by default and never get invested unless you manually set your allocation. Enrollment is not the same as investing. 5. Check your accounts tonight. Open every one. Look for cash positions. Fix the allocation. Turn on automatic investment. The button exists. Derek called me last week. It had been about 6 weeks since he fixed his account. He said, "Austin, I know 6 weeks is nothing in investing terms, but I just wanted to tell you I checked the account, and for the first time it actually felt like it was doing something." That feeling he described is the feeling of money working instead of waiting. It is available to anyone. It does not require a high income. It does not require a financial advisor. It does not require perfect timing or brilliant stock picks. It requires knowing that the account and the investment are two different things. and then clicking the button that connects them. Tell me in the comments whether you checked your accounts after watching this and what you found. I read every single one. And if you want to see exactly how I structure my investment accounts to make sure this never happens automatically, that video is right here. I will see you in the next one.